And now the last tool is going to be the Toon Forge. Now the Toon Forge is going to be a character builder. This is something I've been working on for about 6 months, way prior to the Compendium itself. And we'll crack that open. Toon Forge currently is in its experimental state here, right? It is a working in progress, and you may or may not find some numbers that are not 100% accurate. And if you do, hit the pencil on them, you can make your on-site instant corrections to that piece of gear, which I'll show you how to do that here in a little bit, and that will make your build as accurate as possible. But for step 1, it's a 6-step process. For step 1, you're gonna pick your role. We're gonna pick a DPS. Once you pick a DPS, it's only gonna show you DPS roles. You pick a tank, it only show you tank roles. Pick a healer, you only get healing rolls. Obviously the Warlock has a healer and a DPS, but it gives you the option here. So I'll just say DPS just because I can. We're gonna say Warlock. And you see our numbers down here at the bottom. You will see this constantly change as you start to add things. And it changes, or the roles that it's showing you, the stats that it's showing you, is based off your role that you pick here. So for DPS, we all know power, combat advantage, crit save, and accuracy is very important. But if you click on healer, this now shows you power, outgoing healing, crit strike, and forte. And if we click paladin, we pick tank, awareness, defense, crit avoidance, maximum hit points, and there's more, but deflect, and it'd be deflect severity. But for me, we're gonna choose the Warlock, and we're gonna do DPS. Now from here, it's gonna say, tell us about your toon. This is where you're gonna pick your Paragon, your race, your ability scores, even the powers that you use. So we're gonna say we're Hellbringer, because that's DPS. And for the race, we have the full list here. And as you can see, it says Asimar gives you +2 to wisdom and a +2 to your choice of con or charisma. If you pick a Dragonborn, it says +2 to any, +2 to any. I'll show you what this means here also in a little bit. One more. I'm gonna choose Wood Elf, so it says it's gonna give me +2 to Dex and +2 to my choice of Int and Wisdom. And before I pick, if we scroll down just a little bit, here's our ability scores. As you can see, there's nothing from race, nothing from here. Level 9 and level 16 always gonna give you 1 to everything, so that's already in there. So this is what this character, this Warlock, has for base ability points. Plus the 1 to everything, this is what it will be. Alright, so now if I pick a Wood Elf, I should see a +2 to Dex right here, because that's going to be a racial bonus that we get. There's my +2 to Dex. And here is that +2 to my choice of intelligence or wisdom. Now I'm playing a DPS. I would choose intelligence, and I get another +2. Now, if you don't know what int, wiz, con, str, dex, if you don't know what those are, you can click this link right here, and it will send you right to the section where it's in mechanics that tells you about all the different ability scores and what they do. But I know what they are, so that's what I choose. So now I'm going to choose ability points, which this is something that you would do in Neverwinter when you level a character from 1 to 20. So this should look very familiar to most of you all. And as you see, Dex, if you don't know, Dex controls int, or Dex controls crit save, sorry. And as you see, my crit save will change down here as I add points and remove points. You see that there? And this down here just kind of gives you an overview. And this build score does not mean your score or your build is godly. It doesn't mean it's super great. It's more of a completion score. So when you scroll down a little bit more, this is where you're gonna choose your powers. For my at-wills, here's my 4 at-wills. Right? Encounters is all of my encounters. It tells you it tells you the name of that encounter, the damage it does, its cast time, its cooldown, its range, and the radius of it, and what it does. So a really good one here, Vampiric Embrace for DPS Warlock, does necrotic damage to the target, and it heals you for 600 mag. So that's what that does, and I mean, this does it for pretty much everything. Encounters, it tells you the same thing. Dailies, same thing. Tells you all the different daily powers. The mechanics section, which again, this is something that you see in Neverwinter, tells you all the features of being a warlock is Shadow Slip, Curse, Soul Spark, Soul Scorch. Tells you everything that this is what it is. Forte for that particular class. Forte for Hellbringer gives me power for the primary, and then crit strike and awareness. Class features, we know what these are. You get to pick 2 of these in game. And then this tells you what they are, what they do. So if you don't know, you click it, see what it does. All right. Here's your feats. Your 2 options, it tells you what they do. Right, just pick those around 3. And then this is the general section that's at the bottom of your power screen if you ever pay attention to that. Now, this is for a warlock. If you were playing a different class, you wouldn't see this portion. But this just lets the game know how many soul sparks you actually have. Now, we go press next for gear. Now, this is where things get interesting. So, for the head, you only see head pieces in here. So for this particular piece of gear, the circle of the Infernal Tempest, it tells you the item level, it shows you the combined rating, and it shows you where it comes from, how many pieces are in that set. It gives us these stats. Here's the equip bonus, and it even tells you what class you can wear it. So this particular headpiece can only be worn by the warlock and the wizard, and this will go for any class. So if you were to pick a paladin, it would only show you paladin gear and who else can wear it. So if I were to pick a paladin, I wouldn't see this helm. Now again, like I mentioned earlier, you see something here. If something doesn't match up in game, you'd hit the pencil. Let's say this item level is not 5,000, it's 5,001, right? You can hit the pencil, it brings you in here. All these pencils are places that you can change, right? If the name is wrong, you hit the pencil, change the name. Item level's wrong, hit the pencil. The set, where it's from, the stats that it give, you hit the pencil. So let's say, again, the item level's wrong. I hit the pencil, and then I write what the right item level is. It had 5,000, we said it's 5,001. Once you hit the check mark for you and only you, so what you change here doesn't change the website, doesn't change it for anybody else. It will now show that that item level is 5,001. You would hit the check mark to save that, and then you would hit done. But I believe 5,000 to be correct, so I'm just gonna hit X to cancel those changes. I'm gonna hit done. All right, I picked this helmet. The helmet now comes in here. The magnifying glass allows you to see that piece of gear again without having to go through the full list. And that's going to be for just about everything that you can select. Once you're done with that, you can hit close, or you can just hit on the screen. For the reinforcement kits, it will show you the reinforcement kits that go on that piece of gear. And for the helmet, it's obviously going to be the accuracy, defense, crit avoidance, crit save. We'll just choose defense. For the neck, if I choose the neck side, it shows us the reinforcement kits for that. We'll just say stamina regen. And again, you hit the magnifying glass, it'll show you item level 44 for a major stamina regeneration jewel +1. And it shows you what it applies to: neck, waist, and rings. head, armor, arms, and feet. And you do that for all of your gear coming on all the way down. So we're going to skip the rest of that because if I were to build this out, this would take forever. For enchantments, we have the 4 offense, the 4 defense, the utility, the combat, and the bonus. You click it, again, it will show you all the enchantments that are in the game. If one of them looks wrong, let's say this terrain gives us 2800 versus 20, what was it? Okay, we're looking at it. Let's say the item level is 1900 versus 18. We would just say 19. You hit the check mark, you press done. You'll select what you want. Magnifying glass shows you what it gives. In offense, it gives accuracy, crit strike, combat advantage. In defense, it gives defense, deflect, and deflect severity. And in the utility slot, it gives us control resist, incoming healing, outgoing healing. Same way for the defense. Now again, if you look at it here, Amethyst, it shows us in offensive slot, it gives you 27. So you don't have to, it'll tell you exactly right there what it gives you. If you pick it in defense, it tells us right there. It actually gives us awareness. If we put it in utility, it gives us control bonus. A combat enchantment, all the options right here, right? Let's pick one that makes sense. Swift synergy, that makes sense. And bonus, all the bonus ones as well. No item level, but it says it gives us 6% action point gain. Scroll a little bit down further, you pick your overloads. You just pick 2 random ones for now. And then for your artifacts, exactly the same thing. Armor air gun, item level, combined rating, the stats that it gives, and what it does. And you'd pick 4 of those. Again, as you make selections, your stats down here at the bottom are changed. So this gives you a rough, dirty view of what your stats are doing right away. And this is just kind of giving you just, again, it's your build score, but it's more of a completion score. For your companions, bolsters, again, in Neverwinter, we've seen this. You'll put how many you have. Max bolster is 120. And it tells you right here, your bolster is your top 10 companions, top 10 mounts. Right, same thing for mounts. Boom, boom, boom. 120 for companions, 125 for mounts. So now, setting up your companions. You're gonna choose your enchantment. Hopefully it's the celestial one. Your enhancement, acute senses, we'll choose that because that's one we're probably gonna want. Again, it tells you the name, the item level, and what it does. And then your companion gear, same thing. Name, item level, and the stats it gives. Pick some random ones. Now, for our first companion, it's gonna be our summon companion. You click it, you look for what you want, or you can search. Let's just say we have the tutor. Tutor, summon companion. Right now it's saying I have it as a mythic companion. It's saying that it is a party buffer, right? And as a party buff at mythic, it gives us 4.1717. That number is off a bit, right? So you would go in here, you would hit the, well, that's something that's got to be fixed, but that's what you guys are here for, right? To help me with that. But you would just say you want the tutor. Now it's saying it's mythic. If we make it, it's saying it's mythic, right? If we make it celestial, we'll see the change. Again, that's what it would give us. And that pretty much is how all these slots function. We have our offense, our defense, our universal, and utility, right? What's a good one? Raptor is the main one that a lot of people put in there. So not the Pharaoh Velociraptor, because that's the one for defense, but this Raptor here gives a 3.75 power at mythic. Combined rating is also 750. You're part of the pack. You and your allies are part of the pack. You get 4.5% power. Right? This is clearly off. This is what it's supposed to give us. This is what it's showing. So again, you would hit the pencil there, make that correction. It's showing it's at Mythic. This is what it gives to us here at Mythic. We hit Celestial, we go back and look at it, and it changed. And that same way works for just about everything. A good one, Neverwinter's Night. Neverwinter Night. At Celestial, that's what this would be. Oh, I'm sorry, Mythic, that's what that would be, right? 7.5. We changed that to Celestial. We see 9% now. What is another one? Batiri. Actually, how you spell Batiri? Here's another good one, the Batiri. We select that. So the Batiri at Mythic gives us 11.25. Change, oop, that's not Batiri. Change that one, 13.5. So that's how that works. For the stable, this is a pretty big area, So first thing you would choose here is what you want for your combat power. Right, we'll say tunnel vision. It tells you your item level, the magnitude. For our power, let's just say, I don't know, let's just say runic. Just top of my head. Item level, the name, what it gives. All right, now for the slots for your stable, you'll pick a collar. All of your collars are here, and they're going in order. Or not so much in order, but they go by level, right? Practical Bard, color 1, color 2, color 3, all the way to 5. So you'll just pick a collar. You'll pick an insignia bonus. So we want, let's say, Executioner's Covenant. It'll tell you exactly what it does, and it'll tell you the insignia setup, and it tells you how many how many mounts can give you this. Once you select it, it goes straight into saying what mount do you want. Let's just say Uni the Unicorn is 4 slots, and again, it has a barbed as the preferred bonus. Now, you'll see that it says it's inactive. That's because we have to slot these in. So we know that we need a Crescent, a Regal, Illuminated, Enlightened. So we'll just choose a Crescent and Enlightened. Now we need Illuminated and a Regal. So Illuminated and Regal. Obviously you'd pick the right ones that you want. Turns green and it lets us know that we are actually getting these buffs now. Now, you see where it says Mythic, 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 Mythic. You could change this for the actual type of insignia that you actually have. So at Mythic, you see it says it gives us 750, 500 item level. Change that to Celestial, and that changes 750. But you would just change these to whatever you have, right? And the stats will adjust accordingly, right? So we know Brutality gives us power and crit save. So our power and our crit save should go down if I change this here. Power goes down, crit save goes down, go back up, changes. And you do that for all of your insignias. So that's how the insignia section works. Step 5 is boons and buffs. Now this is your campaign boons. And this should be functioning very close to proper. If you put all your points in here, our power should go up to just by 1. Right? because that gives us 0.2 points, 0.2 per point. And you just put in everything that you have all the way to master, which we have the masters in here. Here's your guild boons. Select, choose whatever one you have. Now the guild boons are set up currently to be set up at max, right? So this power is at max, rank 10 structure. Our optional buffs. So these are the foods, the drinks, all the things that you pop during combat. So for our event food, this will only show event foods in here. A really big one that most people use, I'll type in soup, squash soup. It tells you right there, 1800 seconds, gives you 5% crit strike, 5% crit save. Same thing with elixirs. What do we got? Sun Lords, 2000 accuracy, scrolls, stronghold food, all the same way, right? What's a good one? Prime rib, 20,000 hit points, 4,000 power. Potions, we got flask of potency, right? Belt item, spider totem, right? Or reforgers, or what is it? Box. Awakers reforger box. Again, these are showing you at their max state. So if your forger's box isn't at the max, then you can just go ahead, hit the pencil, make the adjustment. Always on buffs, campfires, VIP if you have it, invocation blessing, diamonds blessings. And I'll show you what this means here in a little bit. This is a really good section, the party buff section. Now you can choose between a trial, which will give you where you can slot 10 campaigns for your 10 party members, or you could just do a dungeon where it's just 5. And these are things like, again, tutor, 5% combat advantage, spot, flap, Porto, 3.5% power, Krisev, what else? Dritz, 3% damage. That would work the same way as if you were in a trial. You would just have to fill all those in. Ally mounts. These are things like Avian Aura, Mystic Aura, Pack Tactics. And again, you guys, you can just click it there and it'll tell you that. All right, so now this section is the last section. This is kind of where you do all the testing, see where things work. So for DPS, you can put in your magnitude here, say what you are, either you physical or magical. Change your combat advantage percentage or your chance, right? I usually just leave it at 100 because it just shows me playing in combat advantage. And here, this will tell you a normal hit would do roughly this amount of damage. A normal hit with combat advantage should do this amount of damage. A critical hit should do this amount of damage. A critical hit with combat advantage should do that. And this is if you're very unlucky and all the enemy's defenses proc on that hit. That's what you should be seeing, roughly. Now this section is a section I really do like. I actually use this a lot on my characters. It's the what to upgrade section. Now there's a lot of math behind it. However, it takes the thinking out of it for you. And it tells you if you were to add another 1000% rating or 1%, you could expect your damage to increase by 0.53%. And it even tells you how much more rating you can actually put in there. Does that for combat advantage, does it for crit strike, does it for crit save, and it does it for accuracy. And as you notice, those are the exact same stats that are down here. And this order will change as you add stuff, as you increase things. But this is kind of, if you don't really know where to add more rating or percentage into, That's what this section is for right here. Now here's your build summary. Again, it tells you your DPS, your Warlock, you're the Hellbringer Paragon, you're Wood Elf, your item level is roughly 70,000. We only put 2 pieces of gear on out of 12. We only have 1 artifact out of 4. Our Summon Companion is a tutor. And it says we have 5 out of 4 active companions, but that's including the summon. So if you don't include the summon, it's 4 out of 4. 1 mountain, 1 boon, 7 buffs. Now, another huge section is the detailed section. Now, this is where you get to hide things. This is where you get to actually see how things look in combat, out of combat. So you have the show in. This would change things that, like a helmet that gives you combat advantage at max stats. This is what this is hiding. By default, it's off, and then you show it, it would increase. Your buffs, hide buffs. This is like the squash soup. You can hide that, make changes there. Now, if you want to find out where something's coming from, right, you'd be like, man, where am I getting all this power from? Well, it tells you here, you're getting 40% from power. Your rating 60,000 in bonuses. Well, what are those bonuses? You click sources. It shows direct rating. These are everything that's giving you exactly power, right? The prime ribs giving us 4,000 power. The offensive guild boons giving us 3. What did I just click on? The offensive guild boon is giving us 3,000 power. Now the share combined rating is all the gear that's given combined rating that's going into your rating. And then at the bottom is the percent. So 50% of my forte is giving me power. The Raptor right now is giving me 4.5. But if I change show in combat, show the combat buffs, and we go back to power, that Raptor would have went up, but there's some other things that we don't have in play yet. But that will show, I'm sorry, here it is. The active buff, I didn't see it there, but the active buff gives us 18. So you get 4.5 for having the Raptor slotted, and when you have 4 other party members with it, gives you another 18, which would be the full buff of the Raptor. And that's the same way for all these, right? Percentage, Squash Soup is giving us 5%. We should see that here as well. Squash Soup's giving us 5%. So I think this is a really cool section. It does the same thing for all of your defenses. Controls is your, obviously, control bonus and your control rating. Special is your forte. Class resources and class resource regen. That's special to classes like the Paladin, the Cleric, which have Divinity, the Barbarian, which has Rage, the Fighter, which has like Vengeance, the Bard, which has Performance, the Warlock that has Soul Weave and Soul Sparks. That's what the class resources and the max and the regen is. Utility, action point, recharge speed, movement speed, stamina regen, healing, all that. Again, like I said, that was real quick, dirty version of it. You guys check it out. Let me know what you think. It's pretty simple, self-explanatory. Now, once you build out all of your gear and get everything you want, this score would be somewhere in the ballpark of like 90 to 100, depending on if you picked everything. When you get to step 6, you want to scroll all the way to the bottom, my builds, and you're going to want to save it, right? Test, save. Now that's saved, and it's saved just for you. Again, it tells you picked the Warlock Hellbringer DPS, you saved it at this day, at this time. And if I were to refresh this page, everything's gone. Everything's gone, right? Obviously, nothing's here. Everything's gone. If you go back to step 6, scroll to the bottom, my build, load it, and now everything's back in. Right? So you can save these builds right here. And they save locally. So again, nobody else can see your builds unless you go here, you'll copy the link, and then you would just take this link. Let's say if this was like an email or something or text message or whatever, because you could do this on your phone. You could just paste that in there, and then what that person would get, they could take that and then they could just open that link up, right? But yeah, those are the 3 tools that are on the Neverwinter Compendium right now. Definitely give them a shot. By the time you watch this video, all these tools should be 100% live and functional and usable. Again, if you ever find something wrong with any one of these tools, you still have the reporting section, right? You can just make a brief description. Something's wrong. You'll say, what is it? Missing bug suggestion. I know a lot of people have been telling me, hey, they want images, right? So more icons. Oh shoot, more icons in the Toon Forge. You can do that, right? So let me know what you guys think about it. I'm really excited to send these out and send these to you guys because I think a lot of you all will utilize them. I know I've been using them ever since I put them on the site. So let me know what you guys think, and I hope you enjoy.
If you missed the last episode in this series, you can catch it right here in the top left. Check out the playlist in the bottom left for all the videos in this series. My latest adventure is in the top right. I had a lot of fun recording it, and I think you might like it too. And YouTube has handpicked a video for you in the bottom right. I'm curious to know what it is, so check it out and let me know if they chose wisely. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to the Noob Network. I'm Noob Hard, and I'll see you in the next one.